Good afternoon and welcome out to the farm, or more specifically, my basement. Alright, so we're going to do a little video on eggs and what I do as far as packaging and selling the eggs. So the first thing I want to do is go through all the different types of eggs that we have here, from the different types of poultry and birds and things that we raise. And then I want to go through how I package them in the cartons and label them and things like that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is start with the smallest egg we have here. So this here is a guinea hen egg. So that's maybe about the size of a ping pong ball with kind of a pointy end on it. We don't typically sell these eggs because they are kind of small and the shells are very hard. I do know some people that do like to eat these. They are edible, but it's a lot more work for kind of a small egg. So most of these I just let the guinea hens sit on in their nests. They tend to lay these in like brush lines and things like that, and I just let them sit on them. If they hatch them, they hatch them. If not, we just pitch them. A lot of times you get a possum or something will come in and end up eating them. I have collected a few up and then incubated them myself. I did a video on incubation with the guinea hens last year, and that was after collecting some of these up, putting in the incubator. So this egg here, unfortunately, is actually rotten. I was actually just out looking around for it. I found one. They just started laying. They usually start laying about March, April time frame, and this one is a little nasty. So I gotta be careful. I don't want to break this thing because it's kind of gross. But that's the smallest egg we have right there. The next egg, I would say, if it's going by size, would be a chicken egg. So here's a chicken egg here. I don't know if you can see, this one is a little bit speckled, kind of a darker brown. Then we have this one here is kind of a lighter brown. No speckles on that one. And then we got some that are almost even like a white. That's kind of a white there. These are a little harder to tell the difference between these ones and the duck eggs, because the duck eggs are all white. But the duck eggs have a little bit more of an opaque shell, and these have a little bit more of a, it's almost like a flat kind of finish to it. So that's kind of how you tell the difference. And these have a little bit of a tan tint to them. We've got some other ones. Here's a darker one that doesn't have any speckles on it. So based off the different breeds, we get different colors, different types of eggs. I don't get any what they call Easter eggs with the green ones, things like that. I don't have any of that breed of chicken. But we do get a kind of obviously a different shade of brown and tans. Alright, moving on up, we would have duck eggs would be the next size egg. I don't know if you can see, they're almost a little bit of an opaque shell to them. They're still white. These kind of eggs, fortunately, are very easy to egg light. I did an egg lighting video. The shell is easy to get the light to go through and see if there's a baby chicken there. So that's about a regular sized duck egg. Some of the ducks lay a little bit larger ones based off of the breed. I have a couple breeds of heavy ducks. I think I've mentioned that before. They probably would lay a bigger egg like that. And then some of the small ones like pockets, those are Indian runners. That's a lighter breed. They would lay a little bit smaller egg. And moving on up, the next thing you would have would be turkey eggs. So this is the turkey egg here. A lot of speckles on here. I don't know how well you can see that. My camera will focus a little bit. A lot of speckles on here. The shape has got a very pointy end. They're a bit larger. I do have some smaller turkey eggs here, so that's a smaller turkey egg. That most likely is smaller because that's coming from a hen that just started laying. Typically, the birds will lay smaller eggs starting off, and then they'll work their way up to something like this. So these two eggs here, these bigger ones, are probably from my older hen, which is the bronze one, the brown color, and then the white ones are probably laying some of these smaller eggs that I'm finding. They're a little hard to tell the difference between these and some of the speckled chicken eggs. You just got to kind of know what you're looking at, and the size kind of gives it away. And last but not least, we have these giant eggs. That is a goose egg. That egg is about 3 times the size of a chicken egg. It is kind of a flat finish on the outside. I'm referring to like paint, different times. You have like a gloss or like a semi-gloss or a matte finish, like a flat finish. And so it's almost like a flat finish for paint, but it is white. So they are not quite like the duck eggs. They're actually more, I think they're more like the turkey eggs almost as far as the feel on the outside, but they're all white. They don't have any other markings. So she just started laying. That's Camille, the goose. She just started laying, and I'm getting about one of these every few days, which is normal. They're seasonal layers, geese are. They will only lay usually in the spring and summer, and then they'll stop. That's the nesting season for them, and then they would stop after that. That's a big egg there. You can eat these. You can scramble them. You can fry them. It's just a big egg. The yolk is a little bit more of a bright yellow, as opposed to maybe some of the other varieties of eggs have a little bit of a darker yolk to them. I've noticed very, very bright yellow yolk in these. But the rest of the consistency is pretty much the same. All right, so moving on to packaging for my eggs. And this is probably good for anyone who wants to get a little backyard flock or have a few birds of their own. And they want to maybe collect the eggs and either keep them for yourself or you want to give them or sell them to someone else. So at the top here we have these paint cartons. These are jumbo cartons. So I special ordered these from a company. I got you the box here. Called the Egg Carton Store. I just finished up this box here. This is full of chicken, the blue cartons, the chicken egg cartons. And I got a good price on these. I think they were like 46 cents a carton, which is pretty good. Even at Rural King, if you buy them in bulk, they're 50 cents a carton, or 49 cents a carton. So that's the cheapest I found them, and they're pretty decent quality. They are styrofoam. Some people don't really like styrofoam. I would prefer the paper ones, but the problem is the labels do not stick to the paper ones. You actually get stamps or find another way. Stickers do not stick to the paper well, they just peel right off. So none of my labeling would work on the paper cartons. I did try this for a while. So these, back to what I was saying, these are the jumbo cartons here. So they get a little bit bigger base where the egg sits here. These cups are a little bit bigger than what are on the blue cartons. This is what I package the turkey eggs with. So you can see I have our little Benvenue farm label on there. It says farm fresh eggs, cage free, hand gathered, all natural feed. And then I just put that's all the turkey eggs in there. They fit quite nicely. As far as the label, farm fresh obviously kind of speaks for itself, but cage free, so we don't have a lot of the chickens that are, you get eggs from the store. Those chickens sit in a small cage, and there's actually basically on the big operations, the chicken lays the egg, it goes down through a thing onto a conveyor belt. It's all mechanical, it's all automated and things like that. They might have some of them where people go and collect it, but those chickens for the most part sit in cages and lay eggs. That's their life. Cage free, and obviously I do have a run. My chickens are not free range, because of predators and the boarders bring their dogs and things out there, and that doesn't always mix well. But I have a pretty large run out there. The chickens are free to mill around and fly around, and they can pick and they can scratch around, find bugs and things like that. So they're not really in a cage, but they are in a coop and a run. The hand gathered portion on there means I go out and actually get the eggs. So it's not a machine that does it. I go out, I inspect the eggs when I pull them out of the coop, out of the nesting box. I look at the egg, I look for cracks, I look for imperfections. I also look at them again when I load them in the cartons, and if any eggs look like they're not good or they might break, I get rid of them. So I am actually getting eyes on the eggs 2, at least sometimes 3 times before I actually hand this carton to someone that I'm selling it to. And then also all natural feed there at the bottom. I'm not organic. Organic is very, very expensive, but the feed I use is all natural. It doesn't have antibiotics or preservatives or any kind of hormones or growth things in there. It's all natural. That's why I use it. I really like the company I get my feed from. The other thing we do is we put our date labels on the end there. So turkey, this was February 25th, so Let's see, it's the first week of March. This one's not quite 2 weeks old. It takes me a little longer to gather up the turkey eggs because they don't lay quite as fast. If this carton were to get to be 3 weeks, I would either just use it myself or I would get rid of it. I do not sell eggs any older than 3 weeks. A lot of the eggs in the store you can get can be quite old. They can relabel some of that stuff, and not that I have anything against that. I would still eat those eggs myself, but I like having fresh eggs. Fresh eggs taste better. They're easier to cook, easier to work with, and they're probably healthier. So I like to keep my eggs 3 weeks or less. Most of my eggs, like these chicken eggs, only sit on the shelf for probably a few days, and then I give them or sell them to somebody. The other paint carton, like I said, are the duck eggs. So it gets the same label on there. I just label the end different. I put duck on there instead of turkey. These were started to package March 7th, so today's the 9th. 2 days ago I started packaging these. The date on there is the first day that an egg went into this carton. So if this carton takes me 3 days to fill, the oldest egg in there would be what that date says, and all the rest of the eggs would be either the same date or newer. Same kind of thing. So this carton is almost filled. That one will probably be done today. And those are the duck eggs, like I said. And then we have chicken eggs here. So I actually just did this carton this morning. This is the 9th. So I just labeled this one this morning, just filled this one. So these all went in on the same day. Excuse me, I'm out of the camera there. All these eggs were gathered today and put in this carton today, and they'll probably be sold within the next couple of days. They get the same label here. They say chicken here. These are very, very fresh. These were under a chicken, literally under a chicken this morning when I went out there. It doesn't get much fresher than that. And then I have these goose eggs here don't actually fit in a carton, so I have to put them in there. I cut the top off one. I just set them in there. I don't actually sell goose eggs. I just kind of give them away to people because they're kind of fun to try. Kids think they're kind of cool because they're so big. That's a really, really large turkey egg there that also did not fit inside the carton. I decided to kind of give those as freebies. And the yellow carton, this is all the eggs that I think are either too small or extremely dirty or have something weird, and then I give these away, usually to families like to take them for free, or we just use them ourselves. So that's pretty much the breakdown of the cartons. As you can see, I don't refrigerate my eggs. They sit here on the shelf. It's a constant temperature down here all the time. It doesn't really fluctuate even but maybe a degree or two. And these eggs keep very, very well. I've mentioned before about refrigerating eggs versus keeping them on a shelf. Eggs do the best when you keep them at a constant temperature, whether that's 40 degrees in the refrigerator or whether that's 60 degrees down here. Doesn't matter. As long as that temperature stays the same and consistent, then the eggs are going to keep longer. What actually causes the eggs to go bad is a fluctuation in the temperature. Unfortunately, a lot of refrigerators have an egg spot in the door, and that is the worst place you can put your eggs. Because every time you open that refrigerator door, those eggs get a blast of warm air, so it goes from usually a refrigerator somewhere between 32 to 40 degrees, typically. And every time you open that door, you get a blast of warm air from inside your house, which could be anywhere from 65 to 70 degrees. So there's a over 35, 40 degree temperature change every time you open that door and that air hits those eggs. That's what will cause your eggs to go bad faster than having them sit at a warmer temperature like down here at 60 versus your refrigerator at 35. The eggs actually have a protective coating. I've mentioned this before, talking about incubating. They have a protective coating on the outside that actually keeps the bacteria from getting in. That's why you don't really want to wash your eggs unless you're going to refrigerate them. Once you wash them, you've taken that protective coating that the chicken's body produces when it lays the eggs off of the egg, and now it is susceptible to bacteria getting its way in through the shell and inside the egg and then causing the egg to rot and go bad. At that point, you have to put it in the refrigerator just like your other foods, which minimizes the bacteria growth and things like that. So I don't actually put my eggs inside a refrigerator. I also don't wash them unless someone requests me to wash them, and I do that the day I give the eggs to them. And then I say, these have to go in the refrigerator now because they're washed. But most people that I sell them to either just leave them out on the counter like this in your kitchen as long as it stays a pretty consistent temperature, and the eggs are fine. So that is pretty much the whole egg operation here. We have just started selling a lot more eggs. If anyone is interested, feel free to contact me. I don't have a ton of extra available right now, but I do take on new laying hens every year, a couple batches, and therefore I can take on a few more customers. But mostly this was just for like informational, to if anyone was thinking about doing something like this themselves. Hopefully this was helpful, and just to kind of give a little insight into how we package the eggs, what all the eggs look like, and how we sell them, and keep them so they stay good. If you have any questions or comments, just please post them below. Any tips or tricks, I love learning new stuff. I feel that I can always improve on what we're doing, so I'm open to anything that anyone has to say about that. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.